Uh, as far as other Ferraris, the Talia, sure. Of course, I would love to. Who wouldn't like to own an Enzo? But you know, who's going to pay? Who want to pay for that unless you've got so much money you don't need it?
I wonder what a tune-up on that goes for.
Gosh, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
You walk in, the service advisor has a loan application for you.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Oscar Verdugo joining us live from the Magnum's lair. I'm assuming you're not in Hawaii, sir.
No, not at all. No, beautiful Hacienda, California. Heights.
Hacienda Heights, Hawaii. I'm sure you get confused with that all the time.
They're so close. Hacienda Heights, Hawaii. Begins with an H. What more can you ask for?
Exactly. At least, unless you're in Hawaiian Gardens, would that be something completely different? No.
I'll give you some greenery there.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
There you go. Wow, I didn't know there was any of that greenery stuff around, although there's a lot of brown stuff around, but I understand that completely. Oscar, thanks for joining us. And again, you are the man who is behind certainly one of the Ferrari 308 GTSs that maybe not the GTS, but certainly one of them that kind of remind us all of the original TV show Magnum. And as I mentioned on the intro, the last time we saw a Thomas Magnum Ferrari 308 GTS, it got blown up in the first episode of the new one.
That's right.
Did you see that? And B, what was your reaction when you saw that?
I didn't think they were going to do that. I thought maybe they were just going to leave it in the garage and say, an emergency car or something. No, I didn't expect for them to go over it was a little large, but it was fun.
Here, let me explain what the reaction was. Yeah, that was basically it. Go ahead, Bob.
It reminds me of the original Mod Squad. And if you remember, they destroyed that wonderful Mercury Woody at the beginning of this next season.
Was it? I don't remember if it was the beginning. Was it the beginning of the next season, or
I believe it was the first show of the new season. We're starting all over again. Boom! There goes a collectible car that's rare. And my heart's
Yeah. I talked to Michael Cole on this very program. Not this episode, obviously, but Michael Cole told me that on that car, apparently they had kind of a believability issue because on the show, the Mercury wagon would be chasing Ferraris and chasing all these hot cars and catching them.
Yeah.
And no one was buying that.
I can't imagine why.
I don't know. And apparently the other part was Dodge came in and said, hey, we'll do a sponsorship if you drive one of our cars. And so they went, for a minute. And the next thing you know, they had a Challenger, I believe, a Challenger wagon, I'm sorry, not Challenger, a Challenger convertible. And boy, that would have been interesting, a Challenger wagon. Wow. And that was pretty much it for the Mercury. But they had to set it on fire like 4 times because it wouldn't blow up. So they had to reenact the scene over and over again because the stupid thing wouldn't go down the hill.
Well, yeah, the Mercury was resistant. Come on. I mean, maybe the Mercury logo's got wings on the shoes, but the car didn't fly.
No.
Probably better asbestos.
Yeah, well, they could have done it many ways, and there you go. That's kind of how that worked. So again, the Magnum, they blew it up right off the top, and I think that kind of got everybody out of the way of this is going to be a different show.
Yeah, right. Well, it's got to improve the value of the one he's got.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think.
Less out there.
Yeah. Well, has anybody offered you like money for this 308 you have, Oscar?
I have people, at the shows and, at Star Car events that, people come up, hey, are you interested in selling it? Here's my number. If you're interested, give me a call. I've got several of those, but, I've never really been interested in selling it. I've had other Ferraris and I've sold them. And the only reason I've kept this is because of Nate. Nate Truman, because he keeps calling me for these events and he says, hey, I need you to do this. Hey, can you come and do this? Absolutely. There you go. And when I can. Now it's been a little bit tough in the last couple of years, just because of things that are going on in in business world and personal. But I try to keep the car hopefully in working order. And it's usually just in the storage, covered up. It sees its maintenance work every 8 years, 7, 8 years. I'll go and have it. Old Eugene will take care of it, and then it goes back in the garage. So it has only 35,000 miles original miles on it. So yeah.
30?
I bought
wow.
it. I bought the car with 17,000 miles on it, and the owner that I bought it from put 16,000 of those on there. The original owner only put 1,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's a new motor. It's everything. Every time I take it in, it looks the same. Maybe they change some belts and they change a couple of seals here and there, and write a check for $8,000.
Yeah, well,
So
how much does it cost to do a tune-up on that?
It's fuel injection. So usually when I take it in, they just run the whole service through it. And it's probably about, when I first started, it was like $6,500. And the last time was about a year ago, just before the pandemic. And it was 7,900. And then they added I had a little couple of other things done. I had them redo the alternator just to make sure, because I had a light turning on, and we didn't know where it was, so they fixed that, and threw a couple $100 more for that. So it's I would say about close to $8,000 for the last service I did on it.
Holy socks, Batman!
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of that's a lot of money, and that's why I had a Testarossa, and that one would run me about 10 to 12, depending on how much work needed. But I only did the major service one time on that, and then I sold it. I just recently, I sold it about 3 years ago.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean,
No,
that's what I paid for a whole car.
Yeah, so my dad says, remember your first car? I paid $50 for it.
Yeah, but it was never with Tom Selleck on a TV show. You know what I mean? That's
well, I don't know. An Opel, 1959 Opel record, canary yellow, man. That's a real, chick magnet.
59 Opel. I actually know what those look like. How scary is that? Plus, I want to say that I had, as a kid, there was an Opel record, little, what do you call it? The kind of car where if you ran the wheels and then you let it go by itself and it would just start going. I think I had one of those back in
well, I had a 59. That was my, actually, my dad gave me this when I was 15 years old. And that was my how to learn how to drive car. And it was a 3-speed on the column. I think the top speed was maybe at best 65, 70.
Built-in safety
Yeah. And I would
had a governor on it, probably.
Yeah, my dad would grab a beer. We'd get in the car and go over to the college parking lot. It was over by Cal State LA. We lived right there in the University Hills area. And I would drive all the way to the parking lot, drive all the way down through, residential, go in the parking lot and make circles for, until he finished his beer, and then we'd head back. And that's how I learned how to drive. I learned how to drive stick that way.
So if I get it right, your driving drove your dad to drink. Is that what you're saying?
No, I was more of an accomplice. More of, he wouldn't, maybe be upset with mom or something, and then he goes, get the car keys, let's go. Grab me a beer on the way out.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so that was my very first car, was an Opel record.
Wow. Well, you've come a long way. Let's take a step back, and as far as the jump to the 308. Is that your first ever star car that you got involved in?
Yes, the 308. Yeah, our beloved Magnum Mobile. Yeah.
Yes. And what kind of, well, I know obviously you liked it on the show, but what was your first step that you actually took going beyond the, gee, it'd be nice to have that car? What did you do next to find one? Or what made you decide to find it?
You know, the way the way I came across the 308, I've always liked the 308. I saw the show. I wasn't a big fan, but I love the car. And I'm a general contractor, and that was my, I build things, and mostly all commercial, never did residential. And I had a client who said, I've got, my son needs some work in his house. And I said, yeah, I just don't do residential. I do buildings. I do, interiors of high-rise buildings. I don't do that. And, but I did work in his house because, he was a client of a high-rise, and I did some work for him. And in his garage was the 308 next to a Bentley, next to a whole bunch of, he had a huge garage. And I used to love looking at the car. And I told him, one of these days you got to sell me that car. I said, oh, I'm never going to sell this car. Okay. And then one day he was asking me, hey, my son's got his house. You got to work on it. I said, nah, I just can't do it. I just can't get involved with this. And he went along like this, and hey, well, can you draw the plans? Can you help him get a permit? So I helped him with that. And then one day he says, hey, come in, I want to do some changes. Can you meet me at, my son's house, and we'll go over this. So I went, and he said, listen, you need to work on his house. What's it going to take? I said, listen, I just don't do residential. And he reached in his pocket. He put the Ferrari keys on the coffee table, and I just said, okay, I'll start on Monday. It was as simple as that. It was simple as that.
Very good, boy.
But finished the job, picked up the car, and that was it.
So you actually getting the car really had nothing to do with the show, and you looking for one, as opposed, it was just a business deal.
Yeah, I mean, originally, I would probably eventually would have bought the car because I really did like it. But, I wasn't in the market for one. I did, it just came, it was there. It fell on my lap, and I said, awesome, I'll do it. Let's start the job, finish the job, got his son's work done, and took the car home. Now, the only thing that really I did not like about the car when I first bought it is that the wheels were painted red, and it was the most hideous looking color. And I was embarrassed to drive the car with the red wheels. So I literally went online before I even brought the car home. I found some Ferrari wheels, good old eBay, or found some wheels, purchased the wheels, got some hubs made for it. And because they were from a Mondial. They weren't from a 308, which was really nice because the wheels were wider, and it really looked great in the back. The back of the car looked fantastic because it was a wider looking rear end. So I had those wheels put on, drove it like that for a while, and had my service guy paint the wheels, have the wheels redone, and then I put the original wheels back on because it was just a hideous looking car. And there's a show on TV on Channel 7. I can't remember the name. It's where the kid goes back to his past, and he's a filmmaker. Adam, I forget what his name. Well, he's in one of the episodes that they have there. They're talking about the Ferrari. He's got to get a Ferrari 308 and this and that. All of a sudden, here comes a Ferrari, and they had the same ugly red wheels on it. And I could not believe it. I said, that could not have been factory, but they had the same exact ugly red wheels.
Really?
Yeah.
That wasn't like your car years before.
No.
Okay.
Mine was, it was just some guy that they rented the Ferrari from, and it was the same red ugly wheels. And everybody, all my Ferrari friends, when I tell them that story, goes, you know what? I knew a guy that had some with red wheels. That's the ugliest looking thing I'd have ever seen. And they were hideous, But
you thought your guy fixed your wheels. He had another set. He sold your wheels.
He probably did.
Yeah, probably.
That's exactly what he did. Yeah.
Now I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so that was, that's the only thing I hated about the car when I first got it. That was, I refused to drive it like that. It's just,
Wow. So your Ferrari, you've had that for a while, and that's actually been on TV as well through Star Cars, I assume. What were where would we have seen your car show up?
Well, I've done a couple of things. One was, Jimmy Kimmel rented it for a skit with rapper T.I, and they did a skit called Magnum P.I, which was basically the intro of the show. And he's basically, they used the car, what do you call it, as on a green screen. He's sitting on there, he's doing his thing, and he throws a grenade, and
That's what Selleck used to do all the time, right?
Yeah. Throw a grenade and the car explodes, and which I never seen him throw a grenade, but okay.
Well, Jay Hernandez I think Jay Hernandez on the new one probably would have thrown a grenade, but he's not in that car anymore, so it doesn't really matter now, does it?
Yeah. I was going to do I did an event for AARP. No, not AARP. What is it? I'm not going to say the product, but it was an insurance company that Tom Selleck is on now. He's on a commercial now for reverse insurance or reverse mortgage things. Yeah. So that company called me and said, "Hey, we're going to have him come out here. We're doing this big event in which is the Crystal Cathedral down here, and I believe it's like Anaheim. They were having the event outdoors in that area. So they wanted to rent the car. They wanted me to drive him in with the car, and everybody was going to wear Hawaiian shirts, and everybody was going to wear fake mustaches like him." So and they had this massive screen. So at the end, I guess this is when he was still doing his show in New York. Canceled, could not make it. So now I'm bringing in the president of the insurance company, and some other exec wanted to be in there. So I drove him in, and it was really funny. And they filmed it for a commercial, which they never wound up releasing. It was just corporate stuff. So you get off there, and everybody was wearing the Hawaiian shirt, and even the women were wearing the fake mustache. It was really.
You think they were fake?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, dude.
Yeah, so we've just lost a sponsor to write them off, but okay,
yeah. And we've done tons of parades, and we've done a couple of other corporate things, but it's a lot of fun.
I remember talking to Larry Minetti, who was one of the guys on the original show, and he actually, once the show ended, I believe he was one of the guys that bought the original Ferrari 308 GTS from the show. So he actually held on to it for a while. And as the story goes, or as he told me once, he is saying that apparently the car just had all sorts of problems and could never really run right. And he paid a lot of money to keep it going until he eventually said to heck with it and sold it. But I mean, how does that car run when you're with it?
Oh, it's perfect. I've never, ever had a problem with the car other than basic maintenance. Let's see. I did have the clutch adjusted once. I did have change the pads on the wheels just for my, I just wanted them changed. Oil, transmission fluid, and that's it. And of course, I changed the belts and stuff. That's part of the major service.
Right.
But my car has always driven like a new car.
Never had a
problem.
Every time the service advisor sees you coming down the street, he goes, "Okay, I think we can go to Europe this year."
I have Eugenio on speed dial. So, but it's okay. There was a couple of times that I had something with the car. Hey, I think the belt busted or is loose or something, or he tweaked the smog. What is it again? Pump, so it can run a little better. Hey, I'm gonna go do a parade. I don't want the car to heat up. Can you put another fan in it? Things like that. And he would take care of it really quick for me because he knew I needed it for an event or something. But other than that, no, I've never actually had a problem with the car at all.
Go ahead.
We need to see the car.
We
Oh,
do.
okay.
I think it's
All
time.
right.
It's right around. So why don't you flip the button here and let's take a look at the car and kind of give us a running commentary. Ooh, look at that.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. I'll give you a little things. I'll go start from this way and go back around the corner.
Oh,
There's our
beautiful car.
Very nice.
there's our Robin T.I.
Robin
plate.
one,
Robin one.
Hawaiian plate too.
Yeah. It's a little bit of one of faux plates, but what the heck. Let me see.
Did you drive it
Got
with
a-
those plates on?
I have a few times coming out for parades and I forget to change them. But I've
And
never,
you
I
ever
haven't
been pulled over?
No, I've never been pulled over, but they I've accidentally left them on a couple of times just from events, star car events. There you go.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
You know,
Still
I'm of
has
the opinion it isn't a Ferrari unless it's red.
I used to say that all the time. And I had a Ferrari Testarossa, a 91 that was Sarah blue and cream interior. And I always wanted a red Testarossa with with leather interior, with tan interior. And then I was told, hey, there's one for sale. You want to take a look at it? And I said, no, it's not red. So I said, no, you. So I went. He said it's in Reno, Nevada. So you're going to have to and fly up and see it. And the guy that was selling it says, listen, bring a checkbook with you or a cashier's check, and if you like it, you can take it. I'll tell you, we'll transport it, whatever we want to do. And I said, no, it's not red, And the second I got there, and the guy came up and had a driver come and pick me up at the airport, my business partner and me. And as soon as we drove into his lot, his things, I got out of the car and I couldn't even pull the check out fast enough. I thought I was going to rip it because I thought he was going to say, you know what, I changed my mind. But no, it's that was my favorite car. I sold it about 3 years ago, a little bit over 3 years ago, because I used to store both of the cars in my office building in South Pasadena. But I sold that building, not thinking of where I was going to store these cars after I got rid of the building. So I now would rent a space, and I kept the Ferrari in the garage. And the problem was I didn't drive the Testarossa, and I was afraid that things are going to start leaking, things are going to start drying out. And I finally said, you know what? I told my wife, I think I'm going to sell it because I don't like seeing it just sitting around there, and I'm really afraid things are going to start costing me a lot more money. So I sold
my
it.
wife says the same thing about me. There are things drying out, leaking, and but it's illegal to sell me.
Well,
not that you wouldn't try, though.
In some states.
Yeah, some states. Yeah. Some of you listening in another state, probably if this is something that you know about, well, hit the like button and let us know what you think. What state is where it would work? You do have the Detroit Tigers cap. And right there is the, here, let's get this, the Robin T1. T.I., excuse me.
There you go.
From the Jimmy Kimmel.
Right. Of course, deal.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So if you had an opportunity to get another car from a TV or movie, what would it be?
Probably the Spider from Miami Vice, the Black Spider. I definitely like that car.
The McBurney car.
Well, I don't know if I buy a McBurney, but I don't know if I can afford the other one.
Yeah, well, that's just it. The McBurney car, at least you go into, you lube it, and $50, you're out the door, and it's already serviced.
Yeah. I was actually going to buy it with Nate over Truman was saying, well, there's one for sale. You ought to take a look at it. And I did take a look at it. And, it did not look legit. It just looked like, like somebody threw this body on a Corvette, and it just didn't look right. There was just too many things that just didn't look right on it. So I don't want to spend time working on these cars. I don't really like to put time into cars. I just like to drive them. I've never been a real grease monkey. When I was a kid, I used to do things to the cars that I would get, but not now. I'm too I don't like that. I don't like oil under my nails.
I don't know what you're talking
I
about.
don't know.
So what else do you have in your garage right now?
The only thing that as far as the other cars I drive, well, my wife owns her original '7 Camaro LT, still original condition. It looks like it's brand new. We also have a regular SL 500 Mercedes. We drive a Escalade, and my daily driver used to be a Prius.
Oh,
Now it's well, I travel a lot of miles, so I used to drive a lot of miles. So now it's just a RAV4 because I needed a little bit more space and the miles, and and I just need something I can throw plans in, throw things in, and something that's a gas saver. But
I get it.
Yeah, that's my workhorse is that. But usually
you
I
have the
go
license plate frame that says my other car's a Ferrari.
when you drive those cars, nobody believes you.
Nobody, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So everyone has a list, top 10 cars or trucks you want someday. Give me your top 3 of the cars you would like someday.
I think I would like, I do like the Ferrari California, because I'm not the slim guy I was when I was in my 30s. I like something that's really nice and comfortable, and I like the top. So that would be my first one that I would like it now. As far as other Ferraris, the Talia, sure. Of course, I would love to. Who wouldn't like to own an Enzo? But who's going to pay? Who want to pay for that unless you've got so much money you don't need it?
I wonder what a tune-up on that goes for.
Gosh, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
You walk in, the service advisor has a loan application for you.
Well, Oscar, we appreciate the time. We appreciate you telling us a little bit about the car and why you got into a Ferrari 308 GTS, which is something we didn't expect. Not that the car we didn't expect, but how the story came about, we certainly didn't expect. And good luck to you. And we'll see your car, I'm sure, around doing some other stuff.
Sounds great.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Talking About Cars podcast as we continue our Star Cars number 4 edition. I should know where I am here. 4 edition. We talk about the car you see on this screen. And for those of you in audio only, imagine that you're looking at the Bumblebee, one of the stars of the Transformer movies, and of course, the car that was the star. There were 2 versions of it. Of course, the brand new updated car, but frankly, since we're old and crotchety, we like the old and crotchety version. That is the classic Camaro Bumblebee, and its owner, Ray Galuccio, and his son, Justin, who is his electronics editor right there. How you guys doing?
Hey.
Thanks for joining us.
Doing good, man. Woke up this morning. We got some great California sun. And everything's well.
Awesome. Very good. I like to hear that. Of course, everybody on the East Coast now throwing their snow at us right now. So
Yeah.
Hey, we got another foot. We got another foot of sunshine today.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So let's go right for it. And of course, your car background behind you there is the Camaro. We will look at it in greater depth in a little bit. But let's talk a little bit about the cars. And are you guys car people? I mean, do you consider yourself real car aficionados?
You know what? We dabble. Let me tell you my car experience, right? I do a lot of the Hollywood stuff to the car. A thermostat is two bolts, right? Well, I go to undo 1 bolt, no problem. 2nd bolt, pop. 2 bolts. It's not that hard. So Yeah, I like looking at cars. I like to dabble, do like upholstery stuff, painting stuff, whatever. But as far as mechanical, besides I was Marine, I was a Marine. Too many moving parts. I get confused.
See, I like this guy. I think most of us are like that, even though, we can do little things. Bob, you've seen me work on cars. I mean, I can do little things. It's when we get to the heavy duty stuff that both of us put our heads together and nothing happens.
We can break parts easily.
Exactly.
Well, you guys are, you heard my thermostat story. So you guys, if you can do even more than that, then you guys are mechanical wizards before me. So yeah.
Oh, I can break parts on just about any part of a car.
And we have. And I think we have, as a matter of fact. Yeah. And a couple of times we did it together. Oh, yeah, we could do this. And then all of a sudden it's like, why isn't it working? It's not working the way it's supposed to be.
Your car's bleeding. What's happening?
Yeah,
oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
I don't think it's supposed to be that way.
No.
They'll fix it. Right.
Exactly. So, Ray, did you grow up in a Chevy family, a Ford family, or what?
The funny part is, to me, as long as the car's cool, I don't really care. You get people like that whole snowboard, skier. I don't care, because we actually have a '69 Ford Mustang, which is the wife's. So
okay.
And then we own a Toyota and a Nissan. So it's like whatever. I mean, I'm gonna get shown for the Nissan and the Toyota thing, but yeah, it doesn't. As long as the car's cool, it can be made by anybody.
Not really.
Yeah, you're bilingual when it comes to cars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, after all, you got to drive cars around nowadays. This isn't Detroit in 1972, where you drive around and there are no, Nissans or anything like that.
Pontiacs, Oldsmobiles, all the cool cars. Yeah, all the American-made stuff.
Exactly.
So, yeah, as long as the car's cool, I'm good. It can be made by anybody.
Absolutely. All right. So, what was your first car?
Wow. First car I had in high school was a '74 Gremlin.
All right. I like this guy already. Yeah.
It was owned by a little old lady. And outside of when you hit a puddle, we're done because of the way they set up the trigger cap. Yeah. And then I bumped up to a '78 Firebird. So. Yeah.
That's quite a bump.
Okay. Yeah.
You put a trunk on it, at least. You got to get used to driving with that, the caboose out there.
Right. Exactly.
74. So was it like a Esprit, or was it like what kind of Firebird was it?
Oh, the Firebird was the basic model. I forget.
Yeah, I think that's what they called it, the Esprit.
Yeah. And I had to add the fin to it stuff because to me a Camaro or a Firebird without the tail fin is just weird. I mean, unless you're a Rockford File fan, then cool. But for me, it needs to fin.
Yeah, I remember that. That. Well, what was the old story about the Rockford Files? We had the guy on who was with the Rockford Files, and now he wasn't on the show, but he of course is a kind of an aficionado, and he's got kind of like the replica car, and he was talking about, and I think the story goes that the car that they used in that was actually a more loaded car, but they ended up taking off the air thing, the grabber seal in the back. That's and all crazy. That because they wanted it to kind of look more than not as good as nice as it was,
like a plane wrap detective type of car thing.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So that kind of worked. So
it worked. Yeah.
Yeah, he lived in a trailer. You're going to put him in a Trans Am? Come on.
On the beach, for heaven's sakes.
Well, yeah, that was the good side. Yeah.
How many of you guys have actually taken a car, painted it, and moved to the beach? Do you know what happens to a paint job at the beach?
That's why I have a garage.
Oh, that fresh air does the car good, not.
Oh, when I was out of college, it was the first thing I did is I took my 1968 Chevy Malibu and I painted it at like a Carcoa kind of place, or a Earl Scheib kind of place. But I got the nicer paint job, and it was I think it was kind of like really dark blue, but kind of metal flaky in the whole bit. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I had that, and I was waxing it, and everything was fine. Then I moved to the beach for my first radio job in beautiful downtown Pismo Beach, California. Mm-hmm. And little by little, my car was suddenly not shining up the way it should be. And it took me years later to find out, salt air, not a smart idea.
It's like sandpaper.
Hey, salt's not good for us. The cars don't like it either. What the heck?
Oh, it's like,
No.
like a wet sanding paper, but yeah, it injected up like really good. Yeah.
Oh, did it? No. See, I live and learn, but the car's gone. So, oh well, easy come,
Right.
easy go. But yeah, you live and learn. So,
Right.
exactly. So, you had a chance. How did you get involved with the guys at Star Cars?
Funny you mention it. I'm a bike guy normally, like beach cruiser type of vintage Schwinn bikes. So we had a buddy gave us a straight bar frame, and my son was like, "Hey, how about we make a Pee Wee Herman bike?" I'm like, "All right, I love the movie, sweet, golden." And we made the bike, and then my son saw Star Cars. He said, "Hey, what do you think? Do you think they'll let us in?" I said, "Well, technically a bike's a vehicle, so let's see what he says." Next thing you know, we're in Star Cars. That's like the cheapest way you can get into Star Cars. The cheapest way.
So you got on with Pee Wee Herman's bike before
Bicycle.
you had the Camaro?
Yep. That's we snuck in, and a lot of guys. And the funny part is, our friend Paul. He goes, "You know what? I got this DeLorean. It's cool." But people just rush right past that and go straight to Pee Wee Herman's bike. I'm like, I don't know, man. Bike. I mean, I mean, I'm sorry. You know.
Hey, whatever works.
Right? So we snuck in, and then I got a chance to get a Camaro. I always like Camaros and Firebirds. So we picked up the Camaro, and rest is history.
So talk about that. So when you bought the car, was it for the intent of putting it in Star Cars and having it become some sort of transformer clone, or were you just buying it and then the thought of doing something with it came later?
Kind of the latter. I was looking for Camaro anywhere from 80 to 67. 67 would be the perfect one, but God, you know, you need like a whole bunch of money for that. Rolling chassis, like $5,000. But so we found the 76, and then we watched the transform. And like, hey, that looks like our car. Sweet. So then began the journey. You know, like I said, I'm good at doing all the Hollywood and stuff. So I actually rattle canned this thing behind me.
Because it was a primer gray at first. Definitely a primer gray. And then we just looked at different shots from the movie and was like, oh.
Frame by frame.
Yeah.
More than a person should, unless you're editing. And then we rattle canned it and then tricked it out with the rush you see is actually not real. People think it's real. I'm like, no, it's...
Because we got the wrong yellow at first. It was a canary yellow. And I'm like, Dad, it looks like Tweety Bird. So,
and that was after painting the whole car. So I wanted to do a Bart Simpson to my son, but I didn't. But it actually worked out because we painted a darker color, and then the lighter color where I didn't get it shone through, so it looked like it was faded. So,
okay.
Faded. There you go.
So you actually spray canned that car yellow.
Yep, drips and all. I actually kept the drips, which my OCD almost drove me insane. But I'm like, if a car dealer, a crappy used car dealer, what would they do? They would actually rattle can and let the drips happen, whatever, just to sell it. So I was like, all right, cool. So I kind of got in the spirit of what's the name of the car dealer?
I forgot, but I know he's played by Bernie Mac.
Yeah, I kind of got in the spirit of a used car dealer. What would I do to make as much money and keep it as cheap as possible? So
there you go.
Yeah.
I did not know that. How about that, Bob?
I can
Handle
think of,
my inner used car dealer.
yeah, I'm getting pictures of Ralph Williams and what's his name with the Dodge and his dog Spot and
Cal Worthington.
Cal Worthington.
Yeah.
For those people out of California, those were notorious dealers here in Southern California. Ralph spent his time in a couple of different prisons of choice, and but Cal Worthington always stayed above board. He never got arrested for anything. He was just very flamboyant. Used to make fun of everything the other dealer was doing. And the dog Spot came about because the sales manager always had a German Shepherd with him.
Nice.
And so Cal Worthington had his dog Spot. And every time it was everything but a dog. It could have been an elephant. It could have been a turtle. You know, it didn't matter.
You know, Cal would stand on his head to beat all deals.
Yeah, but I never saw him do that. They turned the camera upside down, but I never saw him stand on his head.
He would stand on his head until his face was turning red. Is that what it was?
Something like that, yeah.
His feet were turning red? No, he was wearing shoes. I don't remember exactly what
I don't remember, but he'd say he'd do it just to make the deal. And he had some of those rattle-canned cars on his lot.
He did?
Yeah.
See, I did good. I channeled my inner used car guy.
There
By
you
the
go.
way, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you with lawyers, that's Bob Beck talking about this, not Randy Kerdoon, the guy whose name is on the podcast. I just want to make that perfectly clear, all right? Because Cal Worthington is still around.
No, he's not.
Fine. Well, the dealership is, isn't
His
it?
son, I think his son took over.
His son may have taken over, but Cal
Yeah.
went to
But
the
it's-
big dealership in the sky.
But isn't it called Worthington whatever?
It
Worthington
may have been.
Ford,
There's a whole
Worthington
bunch of them.
Dodge. There was one in Sacramento.
Yeah, he's all the way up in Washington and so forth. He was all
Is he
over
really?
the place. Yeah, he
Wow.
was a mega dealer.
Okay. And his son, is he walking around with
I
bears
think
on
he-
cars? I don't think
Guy
so.
was in the junior.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he took over for his dad.
He took
Did he?
over. Okay.
Yeah.
But not in the
think.
same flamboyant manner. He's more of a.
I don't think no. It's
No.
just still go see Cal, but I don't think they do that crazy. I mean, they
No.
could. I don't think they do that.
See, I guess that means, I guess that means your kids are not as flamboyant as you. For example, Justin, are you
Yeah.
as flamboyant as dad?
No. He'll cosplay as Deadpool and stuff like that once in a while. So I'm not. I don't get that crazy.
He's not as
All
crazy.
right.
He tones it down a little bit.
He's not old enough to not care.
Is that
Exactly. I've seriously, I've become that guy that gets old. Is like, hey, dude, you're naked. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Okay.
You don't care. You're like,
as long as he's-
Dad, you're out in public. I won't put some clothes on. That.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
as long as you're not at the mall or something like that, it'd
Yeah,
be kind of
they-
weird. But
Public
Unless
meetings
you're-
get frowned on. Yeah, it's
You could be at Wally Mart and then you fit right in though.
Wally
you have,
Mart?
you have your own little show,
You know, the Walmartians.
right? Exactly. Sad. Was it Men in Black? They aliens do exist.
Right.
They're
Were
Walmart.
they wearing pants? I have to remember
Oh.
that. I don't know.
Men in Black said nothing about pants. This.
Exactly. So, has your car been in a movie or anything like that yet?
Not yet. We've been in a plethora of events. Charity events, Hollywood Christmas parade. Yeah, but nothing. No. As far as no movies at all. No commercials. But hey, we're looking. If you guys, we'll pick myself up. If you need a Bumblebee Camaro, we're here.
Yeah.
Has
Go
anyone ever approached you about the car and said that's not the real one?
You know what? To be honest with you, no, they don't. They actually think it's the one from the movie. The
Okay,
big
good.
thing they look for is, and I'll show you later, the air freshener.
Mhm.
The Biatch air freshener
And the disco ball.
and the disco ball. They're like, oh, he's got the, and as long as you have that, pretty much you're
golden.
I mean, because I can point out, my OCD can point out 9,000 things wrong on this car, but it's like 99.9% accurate. But yeah, never anybody go, oh, that's not the real car.
The weirder thing is, it's more the Pee Wee Herman bike than you would think, and it's more the weird stuff on the Pee Wee Herman bike. Like one guy, he almost got down in like a push-up type of pose, and he's like, "Oh, your kickstand's wrong, or the tire's wrong,
It's
or
always something,
the tire pressure's not right."
always something minor.
Do you have the bike with you right now?
It's actually right behind us.
Oh, so
We got-
we'll get a
we-
tour of the
we-
bike too.
We got to see it. Yeah.
All right, all right. I tell you what, as long as you're doing, let's take a look at the bike, and we'll kind
I'm
of
gonna
go
have
through.
my assistant, my assistant.
Yeah, and you can kind of give us the tour, and we'll be quiet and
Yank it
other
off.
occasional
We'll
questions.
show you.
Oh, there
That's
we
okay. Her son
go.
was pedaling in the Hollywood Christmas parade.
Oh, really? Okay.
Better? Cool.
Okay, go ahead.
That's the Pee Wee Herman bike that my son had to ride around in Hollywood. There we go. I don't want to. I'm afraid that I hope I don't lose you. Still see the picture
The picture's fine. It's your voice that we're
as we
losing.
walk.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh,
But
you don't
okay.
hear me anyway.
No, we can sort of hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
There it is. Yeah, so everything, these bag 3D printed. If you ever want to make a Pee Wee Herman bike, it's a labor of love. These bikes can go anywhere from 8 to 10 grand if you make one.
Wow.
So
Just
you
a lot of the
bought,
parts.
so you put this one together though, or did you buy
Yeah.
this as is?
Oh no, I actually built a couple for people. Alamo Brew House, we made one for. A couple other customers, we made them for, but they're not. It's sad because some of the parts are expensive. Like this Tiger Siren is about 125 bucks. It's sad but true. So
125.
But that's a Pee Wee Herman bike.
For 125.
just for this.
Just for
Wow.
the cat.
That's
head.
the lion head, basically the lion head horn.
Yep, the siren.
Interesting.
Now,
Okay.
what was the basic
Yep,
bike
it
that
gets
you
crit-
used?
Well, a lot of people don't know what it is. People think it's a Schwinn DX, which I do have. But this is a Montgomery Ward Hawthorne from the 1930s, 1940s.
Ooh, okay, that
So
is
it's a
really a
vintage
vintage
bike.
bike.
Oh yeah, and you can tell, and you can see that, you know how you got the axles that they got the screws that hold the axle back. That's how you can tell it's the older bike.
Okay, I like the
So-
Springer front fork. That's good.
Right.
Now, for those who are not seeing it, it's if you remember the movie, Pee Wee Herman movies, really, it's the one he was riding around in, pretty much. It's red and white. It has a red seat, has little kind of a package containers on the back, on the sides, kind of like
Saddlebags.
saddlebags.
Yeah.
Has a lion horn or a lion siren in the front. Has double lights in the back, and it's a bicycle. It's kind of your old classic 50s, 60s bicycle with that kind of little headlight on the front fender.
Well, like he says, this one's a 1930 something Montgomery Ward. Yeah, so that's
Yeah, 1940 Montgomery Ward Hawthorne.
Is that what he used, or is this the one you just made this one out of?
I pretty much just made this one out of it. A lot of people think it was a Schwinn DX, which is about the same as a straight bar frame. I actually have one of those. I have two of them. And if I ever wanted to make it exactly accurate, I could actually take all this stuff off and put it on that bike.
I wonder when you got this Montgomery Ward bike from the 30s, I mean, what kind of shape was it? What kind of shape was it in when you got it?
It was a barn find. It was as crappy as you can get. But see, back in the day, they made them out of steel, so you could sandblast it till the cows come home, even if it's got like major issues, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. But yeah, that's pretty much what we did. So yeah,
looks beautiful.
Let me switch it around.
Very nice. So let's move on to the car.
My camera, switch it around real quick.
Go out. I think you can go around and
we're back.
There you are.
Here I am.
All right, so go ahead and see if you can. Let's look at the car.
Oh, cool. That'll work.
Okay.
Am I have my camera guy flipping around one time? Because the cars are definitely more interesting than I am. And there it is. All the stuff, all the rust you see on this thing is pretty much fake. It's all Hollywooded.
Hollywood. And how do you make rust for Hollywood?
Rust color spray paint, stuck it in the can, as you can see.
Uh-huh.
It's all fake, not real at all.
But on camera, it would show up as real.
Yeah.
As we discussed about rust is cancer. Exactly. Yeah. If you see like all that stuff, it's all fake.
And you have, I see you
right
have the personalized
I'm not even gonna
plate.
fix that.
And I see you have a personalized
Oh, yeah.
plate.
Yep. You have to. Pretty
Now,
much.
Did this car have all the spoilers that you needed, or did you have to add those?
No, it did. It had well, actually, matter of fact, we're gonna check the VIN number because we think this might have been actually in the movie, possibly as one of the cars, because it's got a dent in the same spot right there as it did in the movie. So thing is, I don't know. I mean, could it be coincidental? Yes, it could be, but I don't, I don't really know. I mean, it could. So
How did you find the car before you bought it?
Believe it or not, Craigslist, where we find every car.
Oh, okay.
We've had really, really good luck with them. Let me go inside real quick. I'll show you the inside of it. And then I'll show you the fun part, the engine compartment. But this is the inside. And this is the air freshener I was telling you about.
Now okay, so it does have a Bumblebee. Oh, I see. It's a Bumblebee air freshener, but it's also kind of like a disco ball hanging.
Yeah, that's the thing that everybody looks for. And then of course the steering wheel, which we just made more accurate. In the movie, it's a chrome with the Transformer logo.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. And then you've got the rest of the car. So it's a yellow car, obviously, like Bumblebee, and it's got the two stripes down the middle.
Which is I actually also put it on there.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So you had to get a new hood.
Okay. No, actually, it came with that hood. Believe it or not.
It did.
That's the actual hood it came with.
Okay.
So, Bob, have you ever put stripes on your car?
Yes, I have.
Have you? Something that thick?
No. I did, and I did the 68 style. They were across the front.
Ah, okay.
Now I'm gonna hand the camera to my son so I can show you the fun part, the engine.
Ah,
Please.
okay. There you go. Well, you gotta make Justin work, for heaven's sakes.
Oh yeah, goodness.
All right, there we go. That's detailed nicely.
This is the only part I'm allowed to clean is the windows and the engine. If I clean the rest of the car, I get told, Dad, knock it off. So
Well, you're all putting up a front. I get it. And this is what you do for showbiz.
All right.
Right.
So what engine is it?
it's a 350. 350 engine. It's got a 4-barrel Edelbrock high performance carburetor on it. And that story I told you about the thermostat.
Mhm.
It was a happy accident because it had the original thermostat on it. So I ended up I switched it out for a Edelbrock high performance 4-barrel manifold. So it matches up perfectly.
So you broke the bolt in the manifold.
Yeah, it had to be replaced. It was so old. It was frozen on there, believe it or not. So even my mechanic couldn't get it off. It was just welded, like just whatever. So yeah.
Ooh.
And of course I can start it up for you if you want, so you can hear the engine.
Does it rumble?
Oh yeah, hang on.
All right, go ahead. This is our opportunity to listen to it rumble.
Mm-hmm. Rumble in the jungle. Here we go.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. Did I just hear somebody talk like
Talking?
the guy from? Wait a minute. Did I just hear that a guy talk? Did you hear that?
I
It's a little
did.
loud.
No. It sounded like one of the Transformers talking.
Oh, that was the radio. But we actually what we did was we put a sound system in.
Oh,
So it's speakers on the outside. So we're in the parade, it'll broadcast the sound, the music of the thing and all the noises and stuff like that. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So we weren't hearing
It's fun.
things. We were actually hearing it. Yeah.
yeah. That got creepy
Yeah,
for about 2
yeah.
seconds.
I was ready for the car to stand up. I mean,
Exactly. Holy cow.
Well, a funny story. Our horn wasn't working at all. Right, we must have that little guy, 2 years old. Mashing the horn like little kids do. All of a sudden, the horn started working. So I'm like, oh, cool. The kid's a mechanic. The only problem with that is when I went to go turn the corner to the left, the horn would just go off. I wasn't touching it, so I had to get it fixed recently. But yeah, it's always fun. You turn your stairway to drive-through, and you beep, and the girl's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I didn't do it.
It stays on forever. Yes. Aren't old cars fun?
Right?
was-
It would beep in. It would beep inappropriately at the wrong time. I mean, or appropriately. If someone's taking too long at the red light, we'd be like, okay, cool, sweet.
So we always ask the question, what car would you want someday? Everybody has a list of those. And let's do yours as far as other TV and movie cars. What are the top 2 TV and movie cars you would like to get someday?
Well, I'm a product of the 80s, so I would say DeLorean. First off, Smoking and the Bandit, because I had a so definitely. And then maybe a 57 Chevy, because it's not been in a movie, so whatever.
Oh, I'm sure. Wait a minute. There's got to be 57 Chevys that have been in movies.
Well, I hate to say it was one of Dirty Dancing, but I mean, I'm a guy. I really like to admit that I watched Dirty Dancing, but Patrick Swayze in the 57 Chevy's cool. So
Yeah. Well, you just say I saw the car in the movie because I knew the car was going to be in the movie.
I was watching it with my wife. That's how you get away with it.
Oh,
Sure.
okay. All right.
Yeah. Watching it for her. I understand.
Exactly. Yeah. Bonding.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what about Justin? Does he want to follow your footsteps in trying to get a movie car someday?
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. I agree with him. A DeLorean time machine is definitely on the list, the top tier list. For some reason, I like the old school Volkswagen, like Herbie. So I think Herbie would be pretty cool too.
Okay.
Or
Pretty cool.
the original Bumblebee.
That'd be cool too. That also too.
That's right. Wasn't the original? Wait. How old are you, Justin? You're driving age, right?
Yeah, I just turned 24 in March.
Oh, you're driving age. Does he let you drive it?
No.
Well,
Way to go, Dad.
I'm like, here's the keys, but he's so afraid. Well, a funny story. When I did the P.I Herman bike, right, we had to take it for a test drive. I'm like, is it mean if I care more about the bike falling than my child. But it turned out okay. No crashing. He's been riding a bike, so we're good. Yeah.
The kids heal.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Bikes don't.
Come
Metal doesn't heal. No.
No.
It's like cars. You just don't spend as much on new parts. Well, no, come to think of it, you spend a lot more on new parts. A lot more on new parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah. It's a labor of love, I guess.
I think it probably is. Ray, we appreciate the time. Thanks for taking a moment to join us here. Hey, by the way, everybody, while they're there, thanks for joining us here on the show. And remember to listen, like, share, and most important, subscribe to our audio podcast and our video podcast on our Two Tired Guys Productions YouTube page. When you subscribe, you get notified when a new show goes up, and it helps all of us. Yes, even the Star Cars people. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget to make sure that you check out these cars when you see them at car shows all over the place, because I know once the pandemic starts going away, you guys are going to be big time going out and showing your cars, and that's always fun. Until next time, I'm Randy, that's Bob, that's Ray, that's Justin, and that was Oscar before, and we're all having fun talking about cars. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Take care.